Good evening, everyone. You're in the spotlight with Brian Gardner for this Thursday. Wow, I almost said Tuesday. Thursday, December the 6th, 2018. Good to have you all here for our second of two shows this week. Hope your week's been treating you well. As always, as we start the show, let me remind you all of the ways in which you can interact and contribute to our show. Have your voice heard by emailing us at itspotlight411@gmail.com. You can also follow us and tweet us at itspotlight411. Remember to use the hashtag itspotlight411 for anything you tweet regarding the show. And as always, also on Facebook, search for In the Spotlight 411 on Facebook, and then make sure that you like our page so you can interact with us and see all of our announcements and all that fun, good stuff. All right. So we're a little bit late tonight. I was waiting to see if my co-host would be joining us. I had reason to think he was. He's not, but that's why we're a little bit late. I was waiting for him to let me know because of his job situation. It's kind of hard. I sometimes have to wait a little bit for him. But he is not on, so hopefully he'll join us again on Tuesday like he did this Tuesday. I'm confident that he will. So, but with that being said, it'll be just me tonight. And we don't have a lot tonight, so if we're going to be late, this is one of the shows to be late for. As you all know, we did wrestling and sports on Tuesday. I added the wrestling to the show because I knew we were going to have Mike on. So that leaves us with just entertainment tonight. And we have a fairly light box office beat because there's really nothing of note coming out this week. So that'll be a very quick one, maybe less than 5 minutes if you're lucky. And then TV highlights, which, we're kind of in a lull when it comes to TV. I'm behind on things, and I've been behind on things all fall. But, there isn't really much going on with TV unless you get to some streaming shows and stuff like that. So that's going to be very light as well. So really what this show is going to amount to is a couple of things that are hot button issues in the entertainment world. One being the Golden Globe nominations, which came out today. We'll discuss those. And we'll also discuss a story that's been big all week, and that is what the cancellation of Daredevil and why it happened and what it means for Marvel and a lot of other things. And we'll talk about that as well. That's something that you've all been wanting me to talk about all week, so that's why we're going to talk about it. So that's really it. I mean, there's nothing else really big going on, so that's really all we're going to talk about. So yeah, it's a pretty light show tonight. And I told you all on Tuesday that could happen. I thought about adding some things to tonight's show, like maybe even going into the realm of sports, but I figured, let's just wait till Tuesday. I could have did college basketball people. I want to wait on that for a few weeks, as I said on Tuesday. And then I even thought about maybe doing a spot on, the Kevin Durant, LeBron James stuff, just adding some sports stuff just to fill the show. But, we'll leave all that till Tuesday. We had a longer show on this past Tuesday, so why make this show unnecessarily long if we have to? So if we don't have to, I should say. So tonight will just be a fairly light show, and it gives us time to go into some of these things a little bit more and topics a little bit more, and not have to rush through them. So yeah, we'll keep tonight's show a little bit lighter and not as long, maybe about an hour or so if you're lucky. So that sometimes happens. If you don't have enough stuff to do, that's what happens. So that will be the case tonight. Now, what's going on next week? As I said, I said on Tuesday that I might be shifting things, and maybe we'll do an all wrestling show on Tuesday to preview WWE's TLC pay-per-view, and then do everything else on Thursday. Well, I made a decision creatively. We will not be doing an all wrestling show. Why? Well, here's the thing. There's not a need to do it because the TLC card is fairly light. I think we can get through that relatively easily, even if we do questions and comments from the fans, which we haven't done about wrestling in a while. I think that we can get away with, not doing a full all wrestling show. So Tuesday will be a sports and wrestling combo, just like this past Tuesday. So we'll do the NFL. Look back at this coming weekend, look ahead to next weekend. We will not do anything with college football. Nothing big is going on. We know the bowls. We'll start the bowl preview the week after. So we won't have any college football to get to, so we don't have to worry about that. And then any other big headlines we have to cover, including the baseball winter meetings, which will be taking place starting Sunday night. We'll obviously have any big news out of that. We'll talk about it. And just any other sports headlines from hockey, basketball, college basketball, all that good stuff. So that'll be two, and then we'll go right after all that sports stuff. We'll go right into wrestling. We'll talk about all the big Raw and SmackDown highlights. We'll talk about previewing TLC, and even probably have time to do questions and comments from the fans for in regards to wrestling, which we haven't done in a long, long time. So that will be our show on Tuesday, and I'm doing that because I'm hoping that Mike will join us and we'll have his insight as well on the wrestling stuff in particular. So the best chance to get him is on Tuesday, so let's have everything on Tuesday so we can get his opinions on those things. And then that leaves us with Thursday, which would be a lighter show once again, as all we're going to have is entertainment. And if there's something we don't get to on Tuesday due to time, we can always shift it over to Thursday and mix it up a little bit. And then next Thursday, we will also start the process for this year's In the Spotlight Film Awards. We'll get into all the details about that award show and whatnot next Thursday. So yeah, so you can look forward to that next week for those that have been wondering. I was going to mention something. I forgot what the heck it was. Wow. Oh, I mentioned the winter meetings for baseball taking place next week. A lot of you have been asking because, I haven't really, this past year's been very, very busy, very, very hectic. I haven't had the chance to be on social media with Twitter and Facebook as much, covering different things and whatnot. Well, you can look forward to next week. I'm going to try to be interactive with you all, maybe more on Twitter than on Facebook because you all don't really like Facebook, but it doesn't seem like it anyway. So next week, especially during the winter meetings, I'll try to interact with you all and try to cover the winter meetings. Obviously, we'll talk about it on Tuesday's show and even Thursdays as well if we can't get everything in, or any big news breaks. That's what we do. We break, even if it's an entertainment show, we'll cover sports or vice versa. So we'll cover it wall to wall next week, and we're going to try to do that with all these big events coming up. We're going to try to get back on track with covering things like that. But any big news, anything I hear, I'll just comment and do all that stuff on Twitter and kind of, interact with you all and all that stuff over the next week or so that we can get back on track and start being more interactive. And so you can look forward to that next week as well. So I just wanted to note that. So you all know that that's coming too. For those of you that followed us over the years or been with us since the beginning, we used to be quite interactive on social media, in particular Twitter. We haven't been lately. We're going to try to get back into doing that. So, but yeah, so that's gonna, you can look forward to all that coming up. A couple of things I really want to mention. We want to mention the passing of pro wrestler Larry the Axe Hennig, who died at 82. He's the grandfather of current WWE talent Curtis Axel, and he's also the father of Mr. Perfect. So we want to express our condolences and thoughts and prayers to the Hennig family and to his fans as well. It's a very, very sad piece of news. He had been struggling for a little while. So we wanted to note that here off the top of the show. And there's one more other piece of news I wanted to mention too, but I can't seem to find it. I'm sorry, I can't seem to find what I wanted to mention. We mentioned the passing of George H.W. Bush on Tuesday, but we want to acknowledge it again. Again, we express our condolences to the Bush family, and thoughts and prayers go out to his family, friends, and loved ones, and may he rest in peace as well. Again, that tremendous, tremendous loss. And I'm trying to find. Oh, that's the other person I wanted to mention. Pete Shelley, who was the lead singer of the Buzzcocks, passed away at 63 today. So we want to express our thoughts and condolences to his family and to his fans and friends and loved ones. And that's a huge loss as well to the music industry. So a lot of loss lately here. And the Dynamite Kid in wrestling passed away the other day as well. So we want to mention that as well. That a tremendous loss for the wrestling world as well. He died Tommy Billington, I should say, at the age of 60. So that one, a very big loss as well to the wrestling world. So a lot of loss in wrestling. Obviously, Vice President George H.W. Bush, and also now, again, and then, of course, in wrestling, Pete Shelley as well today. So some loss lately, and all will be very, very missed. So, so obviously, all that's far more important than everything else we're going to talk about tonight. But we have a show and we move on. But wanted to acknowledge those pieces of sad news off the top of the show tonight. Okay, so with that being said, let's jump into some entertainment. Now we've got our announcements out of the way and giving that insight into next week and such. As I said, this could be a very light box office beat because it's going to be so focused on last weekend, which was a slow weekend in and of itself because it was that beginning of December, end of November, early December lull. And we all suspected that Wreck-It Ralph would repeat, and it did at $25.5 million, a 54.5% drop of what you'd expect with kids going back to school and such. Now, what I did not expect was Creed 2 to fall as much as it did. I suspected it might do well enough to hold second. It did not. So the family films continuing to just hold very, very well. And by family films, I mean Dr. Seuss's The Grinch, which moved up from third to second with a $17.9 million haul in its fourth week, a 41% drop, which isn't bad given the circumstance and all the competition. Creed 2 dropped from second to third, 16.6 million, 53% drop, which is a little more than I thought. But, again, people getting back into some routines, at least for the next few weeks. Staying put in fourth was Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald with 11.3 million, a 61% drop off as that film continued to struggle, at least in the U.S. It's doing very well overseas. It's already up to 536.8 million, so over $500 million now for that film. Bohemian Rhapsody stayed put in fifth in its fifth week with a little over 8 million. A 42.8% drop off as that film has done very, very well, up to 551 million so far. So obviously we're far and away a big hit. Another big hit during this holiday movie season, Instant Family, stayed put in sixth with a 41.8% drop off down to 7.1, which isn't bad. It's made 52.1 million worldwide on a $48 million budget, so it's over its budget. It's an okay hit, not a big hit, but a lot of people didn't think it'd make even as much as it has, so it's kind of surprised people. Last week's only major new release, The Possession of Hannah Grace, completely flops. Well, I won't say flops because it was a low budget movie, so it's probably going to break even, but doesn't really amount to much of anything with a $6.4 million opening weekend. Worldwide, it's made 12.4 million, so it's already over its $9.5 million. But that's why those kind of movies come out during these kind of weeks, because it's a small budget and it can make even a couple million. You're happy. So that's what it did, and anything else it makes, it's gravy. So and everything else finished under 5 million. The closest to 5 million was Robin Hood, which in the second week dropped off 48% to 4.7 million, which is terrible. Then everything else getting under 5 million. So yeah, nothing else to really speak of. So really, the box office went about what you thought. I think I said Wreck-It Ralph around 30 million, so a little under that, but generally where I thought everything would fall. The only thing that I was really shocked by was that Creed 2 wasn't in second. Everything else wasn't out of the realm of possibility. So that was your story. So all in all, it's not a disaster, but it's a down weekend, and now you're in the quieter part of the holiday movie season. Things are going to be quiet again this weekend. It'll be once again about the holdovers, and then things will pick up again next week, and then get really heavy as you get towards Christmas, and then they'll quiet down again until February. That's kind of how it all works. So let's look at what's the situation for this weekend here. No major releases. We do have a re-release of Schindler's List, which will be in 1,029 theaters, which again probably won't do much of anything. Maybe make $1 million or $2 to $2 million if you're lucky. You have a limited release of Mary, Queen of Scots. It's a drama from Focus Feature. Will be in 4 theaters this weekend. Starring Margot Robbie, Cerise Ronan, and David Tennant. A lot of awards buzz around that movie. R-rated, so that's going to be in 4 theaters, and of course that'll be expanding over these next couple of weeks. So check your theater listings for that one. Otherwise, other than that, there's nothing else to talk about. as far as movies being released. Everything else is holdover, so no major releases. So how do I see this weekend going? I think Wreck-It Ralph is going to three-peat. It'll be the champion again, probably with anywhere from 15 to 18 million. So it'll be a down weekend. But that's again what you expect given the circumstances and given the first full weekend of December. So Wreck-It Ralph probably number one, around 15 to 18 million. The Grinch will probably be right based on the way things have been holding. Actually, no, I'm going to take that back. I think Creed 2 will be second. I think the Grinch will fall off a little bit more now. Of course, with Christmas coming, maybe it won't. But I feel better about Creed because they were close last week. So I'm going to say Creed 2, second place with around 12 million. Grinch around 11.5, 11 million. So I think it'll be close between those two. Fantastic Beasts drops to around 8. Bohemian Rhapsody around 6.5, and I think Instant Family around 5 million. I think everything else will be under 5 million based on the way everything went last week. And I think that's how this weekend's box office will fall. So there you go. That's, again, I said it'd be a short box office beat. Nothing else to talk about. Next week, we have far more to talk about, as we'll have 3 new releases and an expanded release. The expanded release is The Favorite, which is a big awards movie. You've probably seen that film up for some Golden Globes attention. We also have a limited release of If Beale Street Could Talk, which is also up for Golden Globes contention. And your 3 major movies, The Mortal Engines, The Mule, and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So, and also Once Upon a Deadpool, we released a Deadpool 2, a PG-13 release of Deadpool 2 also comes out next week. So you have a lot more movie action next week, and then the weekend after, and then the weekend after that. So a lot of big movies to come here in the next couple of weeks to pick things up at the box office. So this is the end of the quiet weeks for a little bit here. So next week we'll have far more to talk about when it comes to the box office. So there's your box office beat report for this week. TV highlights. I don't have much. Number one, Walking Dead's over. That's kind of been the show I've been keeping up with the most for the fall. I haven't really had a chance to check out much of anything other than sports, and there's been some holiday movies we've checked out over the last week, and I think I watched South Park, and I didn't think that was bad. I didn't think it was great. I think last night's episode was kind of one of the weaker ones of the season, so I'm not going to recommend that, so I can't talk much about it. I liked last week's episode much better, quite frankly. I think it had a good message to it. But yeah, what else? I did catch a little bit of The Gifted, and this is one example of why you don't want to watch like a mid-season finale and having not watched most of the season, because when you do that, you kind of feel lost. And I was lost. I've watched the show before. I really like it, but I just caught like maybe 15, 20 minutes of it, and it's really a different show than it was in season 1. So I have to get back to watching, but from what I've seen, it was pretty solid. So yeah, so maybe I'll try to catch up on that in the coming weeks. I did get the chance to check out some of the DC stuff this week. There's a build to their crossover, and look, Arrow is still a mess. So I'm not gonna recommend that, but I really like what the Flash been doing, and really everything besides Arrow I think has been very solid. This run, I'm not trying to be a hater on Arrow, but it's just the truth. It's been solid. It's been really on par with what you want it to be. What else? Is there anything else that I've seen? I don't think there is. See, that's why I said I don't really have anything. This is where having Mike would have helped, because at least Mike will watch certain different things. I just haven't had a chance to watch much of anything, and a lot of the shows that I watch make it a point to watch, like push everything aside to watch, aren't going to be back until winter, spring, and summer. So yeah, I don't have a lot to go with. So I guess when I said it's going to be a light TV highlights segment, I guess I mean there really isn't much of anything to say in the TV highlights segment. So yeah, my apologies on that. So very, very light on TV highlights this week. So, maybe what we'll have to do is, even though Tuesday is a sports and wrestling show, maybe we'll just throw out the TV highlights segment on Tuesday. Just because we'll have Mike and we can get him to say something else, because putting it all on me is rough. Because I don't have a lot that I'm able to watch right now, and a lot of the shows I like to watch aren't around. So maybe that's what we'll do, just so that we can add something to the segment, because it's kind of dying the last couple of weeks, but I don't have anything to offer except for maybe 1 or 2 shows. If I don't get to those 1 or 2 shows, or they're not on, then we're in trouble. So yeah. So I said a light box office beat, and I said it'd be a light TV highlights, and well, box office beat was light, but TV highlights almost non-existent. So my apologies. Hopefully, we'll have more to offer you on that next week. But we got other things to talk about, so that's okay. I can disappoint on one segment and then bring it on the other two, right? So that's what I'm going to do right now. We're going to try to bring it on these other two segments, and let's talk about the Daredevil. Since we just talked about TV, let's talk about the Daredevil situation, which has been a hot button issue since the news came down about the cancellation of Daredevil, which has followed on the cancellations of some of the other Marvel shows, including Iron Fist and Luke Cage. Was it Luke Cage that got canceled? Yeah, it was Luke Cage that got canceled. So, but yeah, it's been it was an interesting it was interesting because around the time that Iron Fist and Luke Cage got canceled, there was this feeling that, okay, those shows might have been a little bit weaker. They're keeping Jessica Jones, they're keeping The Punisher, they're keeping Daredevil. Okay, they're weeding. But, most people thought those shows would be safe, at least for a few years. But then there was also the people like, well, Disney's got their own streaming network. Maybe they want all these shows to be moved over there. So maybe Netflix is going to get rid of them. So that was always a possibility that, not that the shows be canceled, but they would just be moved. Well, that's not what's happened. So far, we've lost Luke Cage and Iron Fist. Doesn't look like they're going to be coming back anytime soon. And then we get the news about Daredevil last week. And the Daredevil news is big because the show is a hit. Supposedly, it's the 4th most popular show on Netflix, which is a big deal. And everybody thought Netflix is the one that canceled. Well, apparently it was Marvel. It had nothing to do with Disney. Apparently, Disney has no plans to bring any of these shows to their streaming network, which I can understand because they probably want to start fresh and new, and they're going to be more connected with the movie properties. That's why you're seeing shows like Loki and Scarlet Witch over there. So they again, the comments that you've heard is that from Marvel is that they want to continue these adventures with these heroes down the road, but by that point it might be recast or completely rebooted. Or maybe they're just going to use these characters in other properties or other projects. Maybe they end up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is got a renewal. And that's the thing that's funny about this whole thing. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. gets a Season 7 renewal before Season 6 even starts. And that's a show that's been proverbial on the bubble for the last 4 seasons. But Daredevil and all these Netflix shows that everybody's going crazy over gets canceled. Now, statistically, it's been said that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is probably popular than any of them, even though the ratings are not very good. But still, it's a shock given the circumstances and everything you've heard and all the hype. It's a shock. Now, one of the things that's been tossed out into the universe is that, well, maybe they can move these shows to Hulu since Disney has ownership in that, and maybe that's a possibility. But you're hearing, all the actors and the cast and the writers seem to think that this is it. And even though Marvel's putting out the whole, well, we look forward to continuing these adventures somewhere down the line, it sounds like a lot of these cast members are going to move on. So again, you're looking at maybe a reboot or a recast or something completely new. If they were going to use these characters in another way, you'd think that these actors wouldn't be almost like saying goodbye. And that's the thing that throws you. Like if it had just been, hey, we're canceling these shows, but these characters could be used in some other form. Okay, fine. But that doesn't seem like what's going on here. If you read between the lines and you look at the quotes, it doesn't seem like that. Not at all. And that's what's a shame because you're hearing from the writers and the cast that Daredevil Season 4 was supposed to be good. Daredevil Season 3 seemed like a very big improvement on Season 2. It had some good momentum. Like, it's kind of crazy that Daredevil in particular would go. The other shows have had their struggles, but Daredevil seems weird. But the one show everybody's kind of been high on. So even in Season 2, which wasn't as good as Season 1 or Season 3, still wasn't a bad show. So what do you make of this, and what does it mean for Marvel? What does it mean for Netflix? Well, here's what I make of it. The Marvel TV division has been a cast-off since Season 1 or Season 2 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It seems like from that point on, the film, the MCU, and the main branch of Marvel, which is the film division, has wanted nothing to do with the TV division. For whatever, then, and you can, I'm not going to get into it on the air. You can Google search what people think is the reason, and you'll begin to understand. Okay. But I think I want to say it has to be more than that. I don't know if they figured it was just too hard to keep up because the TV shows are, they run wrong, especially Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's harder for them to integrate the TV characters in because the films, they only come out maybe 2-3 times a year, and continuity wise, it makes it difficult. I'm sure a lot of that is part of it. And I think there might be other reasons too. But, so, there's a lot that goes into it. But when I think about this, and the thing that perplexes me, and the thing that I wonder about, because see, my thinking was always that they want to move these shows over to the streaming network, because the Disney streaming network, because these are shows that are known, they have their fans already, and what better way to start essentially a network than by taking properties that are already out there and already known, and bringing them over and bringing those fans over with it. I figured they'd bring S.H.I.E.L.D. over. I figured they'd bring all the Netflix shows over, and I think that'd give them a nice basis to run with. I guess I was wrong about the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Seems like it's staying put on ABC, and the Netflix shows are gone, pretty much. Because they're not going to continue Jessica Jones and the Punisher, and they cancel everything else. Doesn't make any sense. So, my opinion, and based on this and what looking at it and everything, is it's pretty clear. Maybe Marvel feels like they've run their course, and there's things that they were about to do, or that that they were thinking about doing, or that they wanted to do, that are things that they want to do in other projects or movies. Maybe they want to use these characters. Maybe they got ideas to use these characters in the movies now, so they want to pull a DC and not use them on TV, which we've seen DC do with their TV properties. Like, hey, you can't use these characters, you can't do this because we're going to do this in the movies, so don't do that. Maybe Marvel now is starting to do that with their with same thing. Hey, we're going to put an end to these TV shows because we want to start using these characters in movies. Maybe that's part of it. And that's something that I'm thinking about, or maybe there is a planet for here. Maybe these characters are being ready to be used in another form. Again, though, based on the way these cast members and such are talking, it doesn't sound like they're in the know about that. They make it sound like they're saying goodbye to their characters and to these properties. So if that's the case, then it would mean that you're recasting them into these in these movies or other projects. And that's the thing that perplexes me. And why would you do that when there's already a fan base? Okay, you end the shows, but why not move those characters and those actors into the existing properties or into new projects as they are? And then you have something that we work with. It's a really interesting thing, and it's going to be really interesting to see how it goes over these next couple months, and seeing if this develops into something else. If we see these characters turn up in other ways, or what happens. It's going to be interesting to see that unfold, because I really don't know. What does it mean for Netflix? Well, Netflix has been loading up on original content, on its own content. They recognize now it's getting pricey to have other studios' content on their streaming site. So now it's all about their original content. You notice they're picking up rights to different movies now, and they're getting away from TV shows that are not in house. And I think you're going to see more of that. I think you're going to see Netflix pick up more studio release movies. I think you're going to see Netflix put more of their own original content on Netflix. I think that's what you're going to see. So I think that's Netflix's future. It's going to be cheaper for them, and I think it's going to be easier for them. It's going to be less dicey for them to deal with other studios and such. So they're not dealing with other studios and such. So I think that's going to be better for them. Now, what does this mean for Marvel? Like I said, who knows? It probably, in my mind, my guess, it means that these characters and properties are going to be used in some other form. Because why would you do this? Why would you ruin a good thing? But does that mean that they're going to be used in the form that they already are? No, I think that probably, based on what you're seeing from the actors and the crew and the writers involved, it seems like they all think they're done. So that would mean that if they use these characters again, the Daredevils, the Jessica Jones, the Luke Cages, that means they're going to recast and they're going to essentially reboot, which I think is a shame. Which I think is a shame. But that seems to be what you're looking at. So I think that's what it means for Marvel. Is that these properties, these characters are probably going to be used in some other way. And we'll see. Maybe they're taking a DC approach now where they don't want these characters on TV because they have plans to use them in the movies. Maybe that's the part of it. We'll have to see. These next couple months will tell us that. I think. It's just surreal to me to think of Daredevil and these Netflix shows being gone. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is my favorite anyway, as you all know, is still around and still and going to be around for 2 more seasons. It's crazy. Who would have thought? And that, I mean, and that is a weird. I didn't put this in the show description, but since we're talking about Marvel, people ask me, wasn't that renewal very weird after all the struggles to get renewed that Shield has had in the last couple seasons? How in the heck did they get a season 7 renewal 6 months before season 6 even debuts? I mean, granted, it was by former ABC chairperson Channing Dungey before she left, but Channing Dungey has never really seemed like a big Marvel proponent because since she's been there, the Marvel projects pretty much shut down. Agent Carter got canceled. You didn't see any new Marvel projects make debuts. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was always on the bubble with them, with ABC under her. So, I mean, it's just weird. But maybe Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is going to be that one show that kind of reconnects with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, especially since Greg's Coulson is going to be in Captain Marvel. Maybe that's part of it. I mean, they're waiting till after Avengers 4 to come out for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to come back. So maybe they're going to reconnect it. Who knows? Who knows what Marvel's plans? I think the next 6 months to a year, 6 months, 6 to 8 months, are going to give us a lot of insight into what's going to happen with Marvel in its future. Not once Avengers 4 comes out, once we see what develops with the TV properties, I think we're going to get a very good sense of where Marvel is going with both with their whole universe, their TV and film. And then maybe a lot of the stuff that's going on will make sense. That's just my feeling. So obviously that's been a big hot button topic, the whole Daredevil thing. Even the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. renewal was a hot button topic. So I'm glad we got the chance to talk about that very interesting topic for sure. Now let's move out of TV for a little bit here to end the show. Well, not for a little bit, but to end the show and move on to film to end the show, I should say. I'm saying end the show a lot. I apologize. Let's move on from TV into film. Well, and TV, because the Golden Globes include film and TV. So I guess I'm not leaving TV. So let's talk about the Golden Globes to end the show tonight. The Golden Globe nominations came out today on the heels of yesterday's announcement that Kevin Hart would be the host of this year's not Golden Globes, on the heel, be the host of this year's Oscars, which is interesting because you've been hearing about how so many people have been turning down the Oscars, which is again telling you how far they've fallen. Nobody wants to be a part of it. It's a tough job. The ratings are down, and it is what it is. The Golden Globes are like the fun party to be at because they just seem like the one that doesn't seem to be falling apart at the seams. But you heard that news, and they also mentioned that Andy Samberg and oh god, wow, and Sandra Oh will host the Golden Globe, which I think is a good match. I think they'll be great together. Sandra Oh is very entertaining and a good actress as well, and adds of course diversity. And you got Andy Samberg, who could be funny too. I think they'll be a good pair. I think it's a unique enough situation where the pair it'll work very well as a pair. So So that announcement yesterday. So we got the host for these big award shows for the most part. So that and I think the choices on both sides are good. Kevin Hart's gonna be great for the Oscars. Obviously the diversity, but I think he's gonna be great. He's funny. He's stand up is always good. I think he'll be great. So you got that, and now today you get the nominations, and this has to be okay. Today's Golden Globe nominations, at least on the film side of things. Actually, altogether, I'll say, have to be the weirdest yet most interesting group of nominations that I've seen for the Golden Globes. And First of all, I have to say this is the most excited that I've been about the Golden Globes on the film side that I've been in a long, long time. He's pushing the whole, well, you need more blockbusters to be nominated. Don't always go with the small budget movie just to kind of stub your nose at the box office because you don't like the fact these movies make more than the small budget movies. You know, not just because of that, but because I think for the most part, when I look at this collective group of nominees, I feel like it's a good slate of nominees. It's a diverse set of nominees. There's a lot of variety in the films that are represented. You know, I'm not saying that every film that should be nominated is nominated, but it's a good group. Like I feel like so many genres are represented, and that's a good thing. It's not too much of the same kind. It's not overly it's not too much of the same kind of films. So I commend the Hollywood Foreign Press on this group of film nominees. I'll get to the TV nominees in a moment. I'm not nearly as positive about those. Um, Here are your nominees. Let's just go through the line here. Well, let's not go through the line. We'll not go over every nominee. So let's get our reactions here. First of all, let's get the big headline out of the way. Um, Congratulations to Marvel and Disney on getting Black Panther into the Best Motion Picture Drama. It's the first comic book movie to be nominated for a drama. Obviously, Deadpool was nominated for comedy a few years back. Very significant and probably has a chance based on the campaigning it's done. And then look at the drama category: Black Panther, Black Klansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, If Beale Street Could Talk, and A Star Is Born. How diverse a group is that? And look at the movies. Black Klansman was. I know a lot of people that saw Black Klansman. Bohemian Rhapsody, obviously a lot of people saw that film. Black Panther, obviously a lot of people saw that film. A Star Is Born, obviously a lot of people saw that film. If Beale Street Could Talk, which is being released limitedly next week, is the only film in that group that's a movie that really hasn't been seen in a large number by a large number of people. That's crazy. That's huge. And then let's look at most best motion picture musical or comedy. Crazy Rich Asians, which was a summer sleeper hit, did very well. The Favorite, which gets released next week. Green Book, which got released last week, didn't do so well. And you have Mary Poppins Return, which you know is going to do well, and Vice, which I think will do reasonably well. So at the very least, 3 out of those 5 movies are going to be movies that have been seen by a good amount of people. So again, a lot of more popular fare being represented at this year's Golden Globes. Now, if you go into the acting category like that, it's more conventional of these award shows. You have, Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper for A Star Is Born, or Rami Malek for Bohemian Rhapsody, or John David Washington for Black Klansman. But everybody else is more on the more smaller budget, limited movie side, like Glenn Close and The Wife, Nicole Kidman and Destroyer. Um, for The Destroyer. Okay. Sorry about that, folks. We have a ad playing here. Hang on. Sorry about that. I gotta pick another site because that's just terrible. Yeah, we'll pick another site. That did not help us at all. So my apologies for that, folks. Hate when that happens. I really do. Okay, hang on. Let me see if I can find another list. We're on quite the roll there. Okay, here. Let's see. Okay, let's see. I can't seem to find a complete list here. Variety list was the best one I could find. There has to be another list. Come on, it's the Golden Globes. Okay, let's try the Hollywood Reporter. That's usually a pretty good site. Okay. Okay, let's make sure. I want to make sure this time that no sound pops on. Okay. Now I got an ad playing, but no sound. Great. Let's click that off. There you go. All right. So yeah, the acting categories are much more, conventional. Like I said, Glenn Close to Wife, Nicole Kidman, Destroyer, Melissa McCarthy, Can You Ever Forgive Me? Rosamund Pike. Wow. I can't. Apparently, we're gonna get ads no matter where I go. This is ridiculous. I apologize, folks. That's dumb. I have to find a site with no ads because I keep getting ads, which is stupid. Here, let me see if I can find something better. I thought we were in the clear on that. Stupid. Ads. Hate ads. See if I can find a better list. When you're on your phone, you don't get this. There you go. Let's see. Deadline should be better. Hopefully. Yeah, this looks better. This should be okay. Okay. All right, here we go. All right, so like I said, more the conventional type. And then you go into Rosamund Pike, A Private War, Mr. McCarthy, Can You Ever Forgive Me? An actor, you got Boyle Race, Lucas Hedges, you got Willem Dafoe at Attorney's Gate. Again, so you got a little bit more there, but of course you also have Brad Cooper, Star is Born, Rami Malek, Rami Rhapsody, John David Washington. So there's a little bit more in terms of the popular blockbuster actors in that group, but still. Constant Wu, Crazy Rich Asians, Emily Blunt, Mary Poppins Returns, and Best Performance by an Actress, Manuel Miranda, Christian Bale. In the actress, an actor in a I'm sorry, wow, an actress in a lead actress in a motion picture, musical, or comedy, and then supporting categories you have Amy Adams for Vice. Cora Foy for First Man, which everybody thought was going to be a shoo-in this year, and it completely flopped. Sam Rockwell for Voice, and Black Driver for Black Klansman. So yeah, you got some, again, some more of the conventional choices in the acting categories, but still enough popular blockbuster or more known films in those categories to keep you interested. Like, that's the thing. You look at all these categories collectively, and from an average moviegoer that doesn't really focus on the smaller budget movies, maybe because they can't find them in their area, or they just don't seek them out for whatever reason. And it's more like the whole, I'm gonna go see that big known, major movie with the big actors in it, or the blockbuster movies or whatever. This is a slate of nominations that will speak to them, that will make them want to watch. When they read this, they're going to be like, hey, I want to watch this award, so to see so-and-so win. I want to see Bradley Cooper or Lady Gaga or Black Panther or Spike Lee or Christian Bale or Sam Rockwell or Melissa McCarthy, even she's in a smaller budget movie, you know who she is. Emily Blunt and Manuel Miranda, Rami Malek or Bohemian Rhapsody. I want to see if these actors or actresses or movies win. I want to see that. Even if I didn't see the movie. And that's not the reason why you should choose, nominate them. And obviously the Golden Globes always kind of favors the more known actors, actresses in movies, or tries to anyway. More known actors or actresses anyway, usually tries to favor. It's still like for it to be this consistent throughout the nominations is really interesting to me. And as I look down at this, and again, I haven't seen a lot of these, some of these movies haven't even been released yet. this is a really good slate of nominees. I mean, yeah, there's a couple movies I would have still nominated, and there's some actors and actresses I would have nominated as well. And there were some snubs. I mean, you're going to nominate Black Panther. How do you not nominate the director, Ryan Coogler, or Chadwick Boseman, or Michael B. Jordan? Where's Creed on this list? Where's, you know, I didn't expect Avengers Infinity War here because, you know, but, you know, where's, goodness, I'm trying to think of, good Lord, I can't think of the movie I'm thinking of. God, I'm blanking. I'm so sorry. I can't think of the other movies I would want to contribute. But yeah, I mean, there's other movies I would like to nominate, and there's other actors or actresses I'd like to nominate. But really, as a whole, this is a very good slate of nominees for film. A very good slate. You go down even animated. I think they did a great job. With Wreck-It Ralph and gosh, I just lost the entire with the nominees. I'm so sorry. It's not the best nomination this way. Oh, right here, Incredibles 2 and Isle of Dogs and Mirai and Ralph Breaks the Internet and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. It's a great group of nominees. It's a great group on the film end. I think that Golden Globes did a very, very good job. I mean, I have a couple quibbles, but all in all, I think that's a good slate. It makes me want to watch the show. Now, TV, on the other hand, no. First of all, I like the choice of The Americans. Killing Eve, I think, is a good choice. I think Pose is a good choice. Actually, none of these choices are really that bad, but you mean to tell me that there's nothing else you could submit? Like, you don't submit, well, Stranger Things wasn't eligible. Well, see, here's the thing. Stranger Things was eligible last year. Game of Thrones was eligible last year. So I guess I can understand a lot of the big shows weren't eligible this year. So I guess that's why you get what you get. But still, it's just a very unimpressive slate. There's like no variety. You know, this is no variety. It really isn't. And then even in the comedy musical categories, Barry, HBO, The Good Place. Okay, they did a little bit better in comedy and musical. Barry, HBO, The Good Place, NBC, which is good. It's good that they got that. Kidding, Showtime, The Kaminsky Method, Netflix, and Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Amazon Prime Video. So it's a little bit more varied, but still not the most impressive slate. I mean, I'll give them The Good Place, and I'll give them my Marvelous Mrs. Maisel's good, and Barry's okay too. But you know, again, I think I just feel like there should be more variety. Like when you look at the film slate, there's variety amongst genres. I just feel like there should be more variety. But you know, again, all across the board on TV, I feel like it could have been done better. I mean, yeah, you got a very impressive slate of actresses up for TV series drama: Sandra Oh, Julia Roberts, Kerry Russell, Elizabeth Moss, Katrina Buff for Outlander. You know, good slate there. Actor Jason Bateman, Stephen Jane, Richard Madden, Billy Porter, Matthew Rice for Americans. And your supporting actress Candice Bergen back in there for Murphy Brown for the 12th time, which is unbelievable. Kristen Bell for The Good Place, Alison Brie for Glow, Rachel Brosnahan for Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Deborah Messing for Will and Grace. That's on the actress side of it. So that's a good slate. That's a good slate. You know, Jim Carrey for Kidding, Sacha Baron Cohen for Who is America, Michael Douglas, The Kaminsky Method, Donald Glover, Atlanta, Bill Hader, Barry. So I mean, I guess you still have known actors and actresses in here. You still have that, but I guess it's just something. It just don't seem like there's a lot of variety here for me. You know, it's not a diverse group of nominations, and it's not one that I think is going to really, you know. I guess I just don't see it appealing to many people. I could see people totally just ignoring the TV categories that night. And they're gonna be overshadowed by the film. I mean, they're lucky that a lot of the names, like we got names like Julia Roberts in the TV categories. It's crazy. But that's, you know, again, we talked about that the last 5 or 6 years, how a lot of movie actors and actresses are into TV now because of the way things are done now. But, you know, so I guess that helps a little bit, but it's still not an impressive slate in my mind. It really isn't. It's kind of disappointing when you see the film. When you see the film categories, and I think they just had a great variety of nominees. So I'm pretty disappointed. So it's kind of like 50-50 for me, but overall, I think they did I think this Golden Globes list is a little surreal, a little weird, but also in a lot of ways good, especially on the movie side of things. So it's interesting. It really took me by surprise when I read the nomination list this morning. I hope I even though I have some quibbles with the TV side of things, I hope that this award season is very much like this, like with these Golden Globe nominations. I hope you see a lot more variety. I hope you see a lot more diversity. I hope you see a lot more. Um, I hope it has that different feel to it, where it's like, hey, wow, this is not conventional. There's enough unconventional choices here that I want to tune into that award show and watch and see who wins. I hope that feelings and that theme stays through to the whole awards, because that will help. If you have a if the Oscars have a list of movie nominations and acting nominations similar to this Golden Globe list, I think they'll have a good night. I really do. I think they'd have a good night. I think they'd have a much better show, a better rating. I think they'd have a good night. Obviously, and again, I know there's still some snubs. There's always going to be, and there's some quibbles you could with some of the nominations. That's always going to be the case. But the biggest thing that people seem to have a problem with was the lack of female directors that were nominated. And yes, there were some films this year directed by women that were good. All right. But here's the thing I don't want, and this is the same thing with diversity and look, you don't nominate something just to say, well, we nominated something with a female director, or we nominated somebody with an African American director or a Latino director or whatever. You don't do that. You want to earn it. You want it to be deserving. Okay, when you look at these movies that are nominated, for the most part, or even TV shows, I don't say TV shows, I stick to the movies, because the TV thing I've already said I don't necessarily agree with. On the movie side of things, you look at these movies like Black Panther. Black Panther deserves to be there. It earned that spot. Black Klansman earned that spot. Bohemian Rhapsody earned that spot. This is what I'm saying. You don't want to just nominate anything just to say, well, we nominated something. You don't want a token nomination. Okay? And here's the thing. It's not like the women have not been nominated for director. I know it's been few and far between. I know that they go overlooked more than they should be. You are absolutely right about that. Okay? Absolutely right about that. There are so many women directors, female directors, that have gotten completely overlooked. We talked about it last year. Okay? We talked about it last year. But again, you don't want to force people to just throw something out there just for the sheer hell of it. If people just don't feel that any of the movies featuring female directors were good enough, then they don't feel that they were good enough. It's just the way it is. I'm sorry. Do I think that there were some good films that were female? Yes. Do I think some of them were good enough to be nominated? Yes. But that's me. But I'll tell you right now, I would not try to be pushed into nominating something just because you want to be, political, or like, hey, you know what? See, we nominated that because there's a female director, or that was an African American director. I nominated. You don't want that. You want to feel like a film was nominated because it earned it. That's what it should be about. Did some of these movies with female directors earn it? Yeah, I think they did. But clearly people didn't agree with me. Maybe the Oscars will be different. But again, I don't think people should be, well, geez, wow, don't be inclusive just to be inclusive. Be inclusive because you're rewarding the right stuff. You're rewarding what deserves to be rewarded. That should be what it's about, whether it's directed by a woman, a man, white, black, whatever. That's what it's about. Reward the best. Again, you're always going to have somebody that gets left out. Maybe that shouldn't be, and that's a very subjective opinion anyway. But enough's enough with the whole, well, geez, we got to nominate this and this and this. I mean, I got it last year. And I've got it the last couple of years because, there were so many things that they were leaving off. But so far this year, I don't get it. Let's see how the rest of the award season plays out. And then go from there. But I don't think that people should be going crazy and going, well, geez, you have to nominate every year. There should be, don't tell me there's no female directors. Yes, there were female directors. Again, as I said, there were movies with female directors that probably deserve to be nominated. Okay, but what I feel and what you feel is not the same as what these voters feel. You can't make people do it. And I would never want somebody that just did not feel a movie to just nominate that movie just because, well, hey, it's directed by a female director. If you don't think that movie deserves it, then you don't think that movie deserves it. It's your prerogative, okay? Now, if you don't think that movie deserves because it was directed by a woman, then that's a completely different story, and that's wrong. But if you feel that movie doesn't deserve it because you just didn't like that movie, and you didn't like the director work in that movie, regardless of what it was directed by a woman, then again, I have to respect your opinion. If you don't like that movie and didn't nominate it for the right reasons, then fine. If you didn't nominate it for the wrong reasons, then we have an issue. We're supposed to be about rewarding the best. Not just rewarding what everybody wants us to reward because, well, it's the politically correct thing to do right now. Reward the best. Blockbuster or small budget. Female director, male director, white director, African American director, whatever. Reward what you think is the best. End of story. It's that simple. Either way, interesting start to award season, and we'll see how it all plays out. It should be an interesting ride after what we saw today. So, all right. With that being said, we got through everything I had planned. I said it was going to be a shorter show and ended up being a little bit longer. Well, no, it's right about on par with what I thought, about an hour. So, with that being said, we are done for tonight. Before I say with that being said again, which I just did, let's move on. Let's finish out things. Because I'm repeating a lot of phrases tonight in case you haven't noticed. It must be the end of the week. All right, so let's finish out the show strong here, and let's remind you all of the ways which you can continue to contribute to the show and have your voice heard. And if you want to send us your questions, reactions, comments, or opinions on things we talked on the show, things we said on the show, topic ideas, breaking news lines, sports, entertainment, wrestling, wants to cover questions about the show and the scheduling of the show, any of these things you can do by email, Facebook, and Twitter. You can email us at itspotlight411@gmail.com. You can also follow us and tweet us at itspotlight411. Remember, hashtag itspotlight411 is what you want to use when tweeting something to us. Also on Facebook, search for In the Spotlight 411 on Facebook, and then make sure that you like our fan page so you can interact with us and know everything that's going on with the show and all that fun, cool stuff that you want to do. Again, follow us on social media. On Twitter at itspotlight411. On Facebook, search for In the Spotlight 411. Like our fan page. Follow us on social media so you can have access to announcements about the show, any scheduling updates, any kind of coverage that we do. Like next week, we'll be covering the winter meetings and stuff like that. So you have access to all that and more. Make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter so you can have access to all that and be able to interact with us and keep up to date with everything we're doing. And again, on Twitter, use hashtag ITSpotlight411 so that you can help promote the show, but also we can find your tweets easier and makes things a lot easier on us. So. All right, so make sure that you follow us on social media. To keep up with the show and look back at classic episodes, you have two ways to do that. You can either stream us anytime on YouTube. Just search In the Spotlight 411 on YouTube. And then when you do, you'll be taken to our show page on YouTube. We will find every episode since we debuted on Google Plus, which is no longer a thing, and YouTube way back in October 2015. All those episodes from mid-October 2015 all up to today are available for you to stream anytime on YouTube. So just search for In the Spotlight 411 on YouTube, and you'll be able to do that if you wish. If streaming is not your thing, maybe prefer to listen to us, maybe you want to listen to us on the go, or you're interested in older episodes of the show. If any of that applies to you, check us out on our main host site, Podbean and iTunes, and search for In the Spotlight 411 on those sites. And when you do, you'll be taken to our show pages on both sites, where you'll have access to every episode we've ever produced in the 8 years we've been doing this show. So every episode from our original Blog Talk Radio run from October 2010 to January 2011. All of our episodes from our talk show run from January 2011 all the way up to mid-October 2015. And all of our episodes from our Google Plus, which is no longer a thing, and YouTube run from mid-October 2015 all the way up to tonight's current episode. All those episodes transfer into audio format for your convenience. Every episode we've ever done including our not just our YouTube episode, but every episode we've ever done, is an audio format for your convenience. Obviously, even our YouTube episodes, all an audio format for you to listen to on the go, listen to anytime you want. Again, all in order from the most recent episode, that being tonight, all the way to the oldest, way back when we started in October 2010. That's what's available for you to listen to anytime you want. Maybe you're a fan that's been with us since the beginning. You want to check out an episode again from 4 or 5 years ago, or a new fan wants to check out an episode like that for the first time, or just keep up with current episodes, maybe miss an episode, whatever the case may be. You can check out all those episodes on our main host sites, Podbean and iTunes. Just search In the Spotlight 411. So again, Google Plus, YouTube, Podbean and iTunes, Google Plus, YouTube, or Google Plus, not a thing, so forget that. But YouTube, Podbean, iTunes, your ways to keep up the show and look back at classic episodes. Search for In the Spotlight 411 on those sites. Again, search for In the Spotlight 411 on all of those sites. Shout out to my co-host Mike. He did not join us tonight. But hopefully he'll be back with us on Tuesday. So hope everything's going well for him. We'll see him back here next week. So shout out to him. Hope everything's going well. And of course, I pat myself on the back once again for another great show. Pat myself on the back. I didn't do this on Tuesday. Somebody actually mentioned that to me. I don't think I did that on Tuesday. Pat myself on the back and did my whole like goodbye thing. I think I did like all the reminders at the end, but I don't think I did the like goodbye part. Like shout out to Mike and that. I don't remember doing. Somebody apparently agreed with me that said I didn't do it. So it's weird because I feel like maybe I did, but you know, I started to doubt myself. Like at first I'm like, oh, I didn't do that, did I? And then somebody backed me up on it and sent me an email about it and said, oh, you didn't do it. People get used to me doing it. And, you know, I had started to doubt myself. You know, before like I started to doubt that I had not done it. Like I said, I had thought after the show on Tuesday that I didn't, and then you know I started to doubt, and then somebody sent me an email, and they're like, "Oh, I must not have done it." So if I didn't do it, I apologize. I hate to end the show without my traditional pat on the back, but you know, and shout out portion. But apparently, if I, you know, maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Who knows? There's conflicting information. Let's just say that. But you know what? If I didn't, I'm sorry. If I did, well, I'm sorry for rambling on about it. So yeah. So thank you all for joining us. I hope it was a good show. I heard we got great reviews about Tuesday. Tuesday is probably one of our better shows in a while. It was great to have Mike back, and we had some fun. It was great back and forth. I missed having that. I missed having somebody to bounce things off of. So, but you know, hopefully we'll have it again on Tuesday. So. But hopefully the show was satisfactory for you all today. So just as much as it was Tuesday, because Tuesday got really good reviews. So, but yeah, so that's it. I hope you all enjoyed. For those that will be listening or watching this later in archive, thank you to you as well for tuning in. Thank you to all of you that were here live and as well, and to everybody that checks out the show on a daily basis, whether you watch it or listen live or watch it, listen in archive. Thank you very much. We appreciate you doing so. That is it for tonight. I hope you all have a great rest of your night, a great weekend, and a great start to your week next week. We'll see you back here for 2 shows next week. Tuesday, sports and wrestling. We'll preview WWE's TLC paper, talk about all the other wrestling stuff we have to talk about. We will do questions and comments from fans regarding wrestling. So if you want to submit something, a question or comment, you can either do that before the show or during the show. So feel free to do that. We'll also do sports, NFL, winter meetings, baseball. Remember, we'll be covering that on our social media as well next week. College basketball, anything else we have to cover, we will. So sports and wrestling on Tuesday, entertainment on Thursday with the box office beat, TV highlights. We'll start our film awards process on Thursday next week as well. So big week next week for the show. Lots going on next week, so make sure that you tune in. Again, have a great rest of your night, a great weekend, and a great start to week next week. We'll see you back here for our next show this coming Tuesday night. Broadcasting and streaming live here on YouTube at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Next Tuesday, December the 11th. I look at the date. It's kind of a crazy month. So we'll see you this coming Tuesday, December 11th, 10 o'clock Eastern Time. Until then, have a good night, everybody.